The commemoration of Women's Day and the marches that take place on this day date back to March 8 of 1875 in New York, when hundreds of textile workers known as garment workers manifested seeking equal pay and better working conditions. Unfortunately, that day, 120 workers were killed by the police, a situation that helped create the first women's union in history just 2 years later. However, on March 25 of 1911 happened what will definitely mark this movement. According to the International Labour Organization, occurred the industrial disaster with the most fatalities in New York City, where 146 women died from landslides, burns, and smoke poisoning due to a fire at the Triangle Seedways textile factory, because the factory owners seal of the buildings exists. From this event, great changes appear in the workplace and women's rights. This prompted us to continue fighting for equality, thus leading us to the marches held on March 8 in our country, where equality between men and women is sought, recognizing the contribution of women to society, calling for a halt to gender violence and feminicide, among many others, all being situations that lamentably affect us and are very present today.
Good afternoon. Today, March 16, 2022, in News MTM. I'm here in the Zócalo, Mexico City to talk about what happened last week. On March 8, at the end of the Women's March at 9:45, the women began to collect the garbage that was generated. Then they tried to eliminate those paintings that they made during the march. On the other hand, the Mexico City police reported that 2,093 objects had been found, carried by the woman who attended. Among them were hammers, sticks, and tubes, which were removed by the policewomen who were in that area. As we already know, the main point of the Women's March is to eliminate gender inequality in society. But what is terrible is that the march turned in a massive march that ended in tragedy. The thing is that 147 people were injured, of which 25 managed to be treated, and the other 122 died. It's terrible, but let's go to a commercial and we'll return to the topic. Thanks.